Hello, I'm Glenn Apprentice for International Living, and I am here in Campeche, Mexico with Deborah Mackay in her house here in Campeche. Deborah moved here to Campeche with her partner, Malcolm Topping, about a year and a half ago. Is that right, Debs?
That's right, yeah. It was about July 2010.
And when you moved here, I believe, you didn't originally plan to get into a big renovation project, but obviously that has changed. Can you tell me a bit about what happened?
Yeah, well, the house we fell in love with was a little bit larger than sort of the first houses we looked at, so it sort of went hand in glove that it was a bigger project, but it's still as exciting, just a little bit more work, and it's taken a bit longer than the original plan, and we've ended up with a fair-sized property.
That's great. Now, there aren't very many expats here in Campeche, so you and Malcolm are really among the pioneers in doing a renovation project here in Campeche. What was that like?
Well, we sort of didn't realize we were the only ones until we started to try to make contacts and find out who we'd use and how we'd get professional expert advice. And what I can say was that the first stroke of luck or good management, I'm not quite sure how we describe it, was to get ourselves a good young architect who has certainly helped us with the basic setup of the project and how we were to plan the initial works. So that was a good stroke of luck, but it's turned out to be a blessing actually for helping us complete the project.
Now, I think that you've also found that you really have to keep close tabs on a project.
Yeah, I'd say one of the tips about working on a project, any renovation, even if it's a small one, is that if you want to if you've got specific needs, then you really do need to have someone look after it for you if you're unable to be here full time, or just make sure you're very precise with the instructions for your architect, because they are now getting used to following project advice. But I would say it's much better to really be pretty much hands-on. It certainly would stop any real errors happening, and I think that's probably my biggest tip. Make sure you're watching it on a regular basis.
Any other tips that you would have for expats looking to renovate, particularly here in Campeche, which is pretty early in as an expat destination?
It's very similar to renovating in your own country, apart from the fact that you really do need to have definite ideas as to how much you're going to spend. I think you can source the products, you can find the materials. It's not so easy when it's not your home country, but I think you have to make sure that you get precise quotes for everything, because that's the one thing here. It's not always so clear as to how much work and I guess man hours, because this is a new area for development and they're not quite used to quoting for a job and being exact on that. So if you have a tight budget, make sure you pin them down and get some real written quotations, and you really pretty much have to hold them to that, otherwise your budget could be exceeded, and it's just probably best to keep close tabs on that.
Okay, great. Well, thanks a lot, Deborah.